It is Friday. For those of you who are paying attention to Family Reunion, what did you like? What did you hear? What did you take away from it? One thing that really stuck to me, and Cody Gibson said it of all people, the guy that beat me in the script championship, that won the script championship that I'm going after. In his script that he won, he said a line that stuck to me. It was, we cannot be who we need to be, or we cannot become who we want to be if we're focused on who we once were. And that was profound, and he used it in a script. But it was the thing is we cannot become who we want to become if we're always focusing on who we were. Being that we always focused on, well, this is not how we used to do it, or this is not how I've always done it, or this isn't how I'm comfortable doing it, right? These are all the things that if we're not getting out of our comfort zone or doing things differently, then how can we ever change our path? If you never take a turn, you're always just going to go right down the same path you've always been on. And that may not be ideal. So, anyone else have a good takeaway?
Well, I didn't go to Family Reunion, but I see what you're talking about, Big Dan, because this last year was kind of like I would always reflect on gratefulness, which is good too. But this year I'm doing a little bit more like 12-week year kind of style, like planning it out, like just kind of knowing what's coming ahead. And it's helping me to focus on who I want to be, not who I'm always grateful, like what we just did, moving forward.
Yes.
But I definitely want to hear what you guys go from Family Reunion. Who wins?
So I haven't finished like watching all the videos for the things that I missed, but I guess what stood out to me, and it's not a surprise, but all of the value and so much of what they're teaching us, Big Dan's been teaching us all along. And it just reinforces everything in my brain. And like, I mean, I was really paying attention to the how to win the offer class because like I need to do that today. And it's, communicating with the agent and other than price, what's important to your seller. And Big Dan's been telling us this all along.
I wish I could take credit for knowing all of these things inside and out and creating this grand illusion of success. But to be honest, these are core principles that go align with just about every sales transaction. So I'm glad that Robin picked up the correlation that no matter what level we're doing business, from the first agent deal through some of these mega agents that are doing thousands of deals a year, the principles still ring true. Focus on the basics. That is the most important aspect of our career, is to focus on the basics. Morning, Frank. Morning, Stormy. Good morning, Mara. Good morning, Shoshi. Good morning, Samantha.
Good morning.
Everybody's here. All right.
Morning.
Any other awesomeness from the reunion of families? You guys ready to jump in our objection for the day? What do you think it's going to be, Miss Mara? It's okay. I'll tell you. All right. This is one that I'm sure you guys are going to hear a lot. It's either buyer or seller, right? I think we're just going to wait. Who's heard that? Right? Everybody. I think we're just going to wait. Do they ever follow up with a why? It's an automated response. If they were to say something like, I think we're just going to wait until the market gets better, now you have something tangible. But if they just say, I think I'm just going to wait, not exactly something that's hard and steady fast. Look at that. We got Jacob and Diego over there at the KLP office with Stormy this morning. Got ourselves a group going on. I love it. Okay, who wants to give me how you can handle an objection of someone saying, I'm just going to wait? You get to choose if it's a buyer or a seller. I'm going to let you give that freedom. You're muted, Miss BB. You're talking to us.
Either way, Dan, you taught us it's tell me more about that, right?
At a base, at a minimum. Well, that's interesting. Tell me more. Go ahead, Stormy. You know what, Stormy? I think I'm just going to wait.
Tell me more about that, Dan.
Well, I don't think right now is a good time to buy a house.
And tell me more. Tell me why, Dan.
You know, I see the prices keep going up and up and up, and I don't want to pay too much for a house.
Is that your only concern?
Well, it's got to be affordable, and I just don't feel like, we have an aggressive enough offer, and we're not going to get a good deal.
So it sounds like your only concern is that the house is too high, priced too high, or are higher than normal, which is true, and that you want to make sure it's affordable. Is that correct?
Right. I want to make sure I'm getting a good deal.
Okay. Well, good news is, Dan, is that interest rates are at an all-time low, so your payment's going to be the lowest it'll ever be, and it's going to actually afford you more home than ever. Would you like me to explain more?
Please do.
For every 1% interest rate that goes up or down, it affords you $50,000 to $60,000 more or less home. So right now you're at a 3%, which is really low. Last year at this time it was 4%. So your $350,000 home that you're looking at, really, last year you can only afford a $290,000 home. So you're getting more home for less money. So it works out on both ends.
Go for the close.
So let's make this offer.
There you go. You see how easy it is to sit back? You're like, I overcame the objection. My job is done. Nope. Go for the close. Good job, Stormy. Good job, Stormy. So overcome and isolate. Isolate and overcome. Yeah, that one. Isolate and overcome. Other than, is there anything else concerning you? Right? Stormy's other than, is there anything else that's bothering you? Isolating a single objection will often get a story to come out. What was my main objection?
Price.
Who was that? Mara that said something else?
Just high prices. That was not your main objection.
You didn't want to pay too much.
Yeah, you want a good deal.
Oh, there it is, Mara.
I come here in the good deal, and we've been taught that a good deal is the interest rate, and I'm just not sure how to hammer that home so effectively. Like Stormy tried to explain it, and I think we do have to take that extra step to explain it because people don't really follow.
Yeah, the one thing I would add to your, Stormy, is something along these lines. Mr. Stormy, I can understand that you want to wait. Tell me more. Say the same things,
Yeah.
It's not a good time to buy a house. Okay, I understand that. What makes you say that? Well, we don't want to pay too much for a house. Okay, well then other than paying too much for a house, is there anything that would keep you from living here? Well, we want to make sure we get a good deal. That's an anchor. People are looking for a deal, right? If it's affordable, if it's a deal, okay, great. Well, tell me what you think is a good deal. Get them to explain it. Well, we like to negotiate our prices down or something like that. Well, did you know right now the good deal is the interest rate? Let me explain. And then what Stormy did, interest rates right now are affording people like yourself in the same situation the ability to, own more home and keep their payments the same. Your affordability stays in place while still getting in line with the market of today. Last year at this same time, this house would have been $50,000 or $60,000 less, and you would have been paying the exact same amount per month because of the interest rates. The beautiful thing is if you're going to be in this house longer than 5 or 10 years, then that interest rate's really going to make up for it in the tail end of the loan. We're going to be paying thousands less in overall interest. That being said, Stormy, can you see how the good deal in buying this house is you've got the great rate, your payments are in line where you want them to be. It's the house that your family looks for, and it's checked off more boxes than we thought we had. Are you ready to put an offer in? Let's get you into this house in the next 45 days. Whoever walked by Stormy just completely obliterated his attention. She was walking too fast in Jacob's screen, so I couldn't see who it was. Might have been Ashley. Looked tall. Sydney was wearing something tannish green, but you can see how we can go into the close on that. Stack the close on those. You can see how it's the house you're looking for. It has all the options you want and more. It's the payment you're looking for. It's affordable for you, right? Anchor it. Then let's get the offer submitted today and we can get you in your new home in the next 45 days.
Dan, what about some buyers are convinced, that the market is going to tank again, that they're going to get stuck with a home that's too high priced, and you have a good reassurance? I mean,
that's actually an excellent concern to have. If history teaches us anything, is that it repeats itself if we don't learn from the lessons of the past. And what we feel in the market of today is that everything just keeps going up exponentially, and it can never do that for long. Let me remind you that the market crashed over a decade ago. And since then, the economy has stabilized. The issues that were in place that created that crash have been rationalized and eliminated, actually. And we've actually seen a steady growth in real estate over the last decade. It's only during this last year we've seen such an uptick into the double-digit percentages. Now, that itself is not sustainable, but we're not going to see a huge 50, 60% crash like we did back then, because the market grows 3% per year. And over 10 years, that's 30%. And the houses are right in line with that value now. So I can completely understand your concern. Other than feeling like the market might bail you out, is there anything else that's keeping you from being a homeowner today?
right. Just don't want to be
So-
under.
Dan, what is a good go-to for cash buyers that don't care about the low interest rates?
Why are you buying the house?
Would you just, talk about putting your money into an investment?
The stock market has gained about 7% in the last year. Real estate's gained 19. Where's the better investment?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't want to pay too much. You haven't paid too much at all. You haven't paid for anything. You haven't even submitted an offer. Right? On a cash buyer, you're looking at two options. Usually they're an investor, or they sold a house somewhere else. It's way more expensive than here, and they're moving here to increase their standard of living. I have dealt with a lot of snotty ass California people coming over here and selling their condos and buying a mansion. It's annoying as all hell, I'll tell you.
But even though we're not financial advisors, could we not? I mentioned to people, hey, you probably actually want to put down the least amount right now, because yes, if you put it in the stock market, you could get 7% and your interest rate's only going to be 3%. You're going to completely make your mortgage by keeping your other money invested. Why pay cash right now?
Right. Why would you want to use up your reserves and your cash investments if you can borrow the money at a less than inflation rate, use your other cash reserves to possibly buy multiple properties and have a cash return? And now you have a net positive cash flow every month that's paying for the initial property, all from the main investment you would have thrown at one house.
Okay, so you would say, if I'm talking to someone who wants to pay cash for a property, an investment property, say no, get a loan.
Ms. Page, what makes more sense? Paying cash for this so that you have a cash flow of $1,600 a month, or taking 20% of your cash down and spreading it across 3 other properties? And now you have the same $1,600 a month cash flow, but it's on 3 different properties, 3 different appreciation rates, and 3 different tax shelters.
As long as it's more than one property, yeah. If it's just one property, then what's the point of getting a loan? Just buy cash. But if you have multiple properties, then yeah, spread it out, because then you got, like you said, cash flow. You got that cash coming in. Instead of all your money in one, tied up in one property, why not be multiple properties? Yeah.
And people will see that when you start talking about the investment side of things, it's important to understand how that works. Read a book on it. There's a book called Hold and Flip that we wrote. Also, The Millionaire Real Estate Investor, the blue book.
So fucking cool.
So some really, really good stuff to help you out, that you can have those conversations. If you got a cash buyer, most times they're coming in, they don't care about the sales price. They love the house. They want the house. They're going to buy the house. If they're hemming and hawing because they want a good deal, I'm sorry, in real estate, a good deal is a house nobody wants to buy. I want a marketable property that's going to have a lot of interest that I could find and make money on. If I'm making $200 a month after all my expenses, that's $2,400 a year cash flow. Okay. On top of that, I'm earning a 3 to 4% return on my investment through just normal appreciation in real estate. Plus, if you have a good CPA and accountant, you can utilize some of that as a tax shelter and save yourself income tax on the money you make outside of it. But that's a different story for a different day. We need to have another investing class soon, and I'll talk to some investors to come on and start teaching it. So we'll bring that together. But that's a good question. So other than that, Paige, if you have a cash buyer that's like hemming and hawing on stuff, ask them what their ideal, like the same thing. What do you consider a good deal? Tell me what you consider a good deal. Get inside their head a little bit. And it's not monetary. It's not always money. You know, you guys ever go buy a car and they throw in the oil changes, the first year oil changes? They're like, oh, we'll give you oil changes for the first year, $150, and they just sold it for $10,000 more. You know, we'll give you a car wash, sell it for $10,000 more. It's not always monetary. You know, well, we didn't want to pay for a refrigerator. Okay, so you didn't buy $1 million house because you'd have to buy a $1,000 fridge. Get out of here. It happens. So understanding their motivation, unearthing the anchor is important. So tell me more about that. What's important about that? You know, what do you consider a good deal? So great stuff. So back on the task, we're just going to wait. How else can we handle? We're just going to wait. Sellers, we're just going to wait. Buyers, we're just going to wait. Here's what I heard on the buyer side. We're just going to wait. We think the market's going to come back down, so we're just going to wait. Okay, great. Do you plan on investing in yourself or the sellers? What do you mean? Well, if you wait, the market's going up about 1% every month. So in 6 months from now, you've just bought the same house for 6% more, investing more in the seller. Had you have bought it today, you would have had that appreciation in your pocket. Right? On a seller, we just want to wait. I love this line. What do you hope changes? Right? Good morning, Miss Brenda. Good morning, Cindy. Do you think that question can unearth some opportunity for you? BB, I understand you want to wait. What do you hope changes?
Well, you know, I'm waiting for COVID to end.
Well, the one thing I can assure you, BB, is that COVID is not going anywhere.
Well, I think though, once the vaccine is under control and, you know, it's going to be better.
Yeah, it definitely is getting better than it was last year. And I think it's going to continue to get better. And the great thing is COVID has exposed a need for home ownership. Right now in the United States, we're still sitting at about a 5 million home deficit to desire, meaning that there are 5 million families out there that want to buy a house and there's no houses for them to buy. So this isn't going to go away. We have created a frenzy in the United States for people to be homeowners, to desire in their own wealth. So if we wait for that to happen, BB, where's that going to put you? You're going to continue renting, right?
Yes, exactly.
And then how much is your rent?
It's $1,700.
Right. So if we rent for the next year at $1,700, that's quite a bit of money, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
That's like $20,000 that you've given to your landlord that you could have taken in less than that as a down payment on this house. And your payment would have been less than that per month in your pocket for equity. You can see that owning the home benefits you in the long run, right?
Right.
So let's stop this nonsense of renting. Let's get you into some home ownership and start building your future.
Okay, let's go look at some houses.
Boom. I'm not good at math, especially with 17. That was a weird number. And 17, that's 17,000 plus.
I just threw that out there.
$21,900. So yeah, just over 20 grand, almost $22,000. So $20,000. Can you buy a nice house with $20,000 down? FHA loan, 3.5%. Brenda's like, nah, what do you consider nice? Okay, Miss High End, just chill over there. I put $10,000 down on my house and $250,000 house. Gotta love FHA loans. But no, you have a lot of potential there. If you can talk to somebody about what they're paying in rent, we can show them how waiting might actually cost them more. We're going to ask the group, do people run faster towards pleasure or away from pain?
Away from pain.
Away from pain.
Away from pain. Your clients, your friends, your family, and yourself are more likely to move towards something in a version of loss, meaning to not lose, than you will to gain. If I told you you were going to die in 6 months if you didn't lose 5 pounds, I guarantee you would lose 5 pounds in 6 months. If I told you you would feel better if you lost 5 pounds in 6 months, there's a much smaller percentage of that being true. You would not do it. We do so much to avoid pain and so little to gain pleasure. So if we can bring the pain factor into the conversation, what is waiting going to do? So on a seller, you got a seller. What do we need to unearth?
Their motivation. Why?
Ms. Mara,
Motivation.
how do you unearth motivation?
Asking questions. What made you want to move in the first place? Maybe.
Well, Ms. Mara, we want to move back to Montana to be close to my mom, and she's in her twilight years, so we want the grandkids to have time around her before she's gone.
Oh, that's an awesome idea. Well, I think you can see the market is just so strong right now that it is a terrific time to sell and get you to Montana to be with family as soon as possible. Maybe be in there in less than 2 months. Sound good?
You know, it does. I think we're going to wait. We feel like the market might, do some crazy things, and we want to make sure that we're making the right decision. So I think we're just going to wait and hold off for a little bit.
Okay. What do you hope the market does?
Well, we hope it keeps going up.
Well, and you're right. I think it will. And they always say, the market you sell in, the market you buy in. So if you're going to sell high here in Tucson and you're going to go to Montana, I bet you're going to be able to afford a lot more there because you're going to be getting top dollar for your house here. And there's nothing really showing us that our prices are going to drop anytime soon. The economy is strong. So what do you say? Ready to get it listed?
No, I think we're just going to wait.
You're being difficult. Tell me more about that.
Hey,
No,
Dan. Hey,
go
Dan.
back. Go ahead, Stormy.
Are you willing? What I hear is you want to wait, but are you willing to risk losing money on your home?
There you go.
No.
Well, then you should list now and get capitalize on what you can get in today's market.
Stormy, I appreciate that. I think we just want to wait. I mean, we're going to just wait and see what happens.
And that's fine, Dan. No problem. I'm here for you. I'm here for you 6 months out, a year out, 2 years out. But if you're willing to risk your money and losing it by waiting, then that's your decision.
Go back to motivation. Is money my motivation?
Now, how long are you willing to wait to enjoy those grandbabies?
Boom. Cindy. Boom. Go back to motivation. I just said it's not always monetary.
Mm-hmm.
We have to understand the people we're talking to. Miss Cindy how long are you willing to put the relationship between your mom and her grandkids? Right?
Mm-hmm.
Are you willing to make them wait even longer? Are you willing to risk the future relationship that your mom can have with your kids? Does that pull on some heartstrings a whole lot more than my purse strings? Yeah. I could give two shits about $10,000 if you could guarantee me more time with my mom. For those of you who don't know, my mom's going for heart surgery in 2 weeks. Like big time. So same thing. You pull on that, it's like, hey, money doesn't matter. Money doesn't matter at all if you can unroot the emotional anchor to what they're doing. I moved from Denver, Colorado back to Tucson in less than 24 hours the moment my mom said, I need you home. I lost thousands It's not always monetary. Always uncover the reasons. You know, what makes you want to sell? What has you thinking about selling your house in the first place? And then go back to it. Are you willing to risk blank? Are you willing to push off your future? Are you willing to risk whatever the motivation was in hopes of a smaller gain? Smaller gain. Minimize the outcome. Maximize the fear. I don't like to be a fear monger, and I don't want to push this out there, but the one thing is if we can maximize the pain, we can get people to act like the bold law says, right? Logic makes us think, emotions make us act. And if we can go back and say, Miss Beebe, I completely understand that you want to get back home to your mom so your kids have time around her. And we don't know how long we have on this earth, right? Are you willing to push that time out even further for the hopes of a small gain in market share?
No.
Well, let's get this house sold today and get you on to that next chapter here in the next 30 days. Notice I wasn't super over the top, like, oh my God, Beebe, let's get you your mom right away. No, it's you bring down the tempo, you make it real. You Sarah McLachlan the shit out of that. The Arms of the Angel song, you know what I'm talking about? Those puppy commercials can make anybody cry. But they're the emotional tag to them, the emotional tie down. So when somebody says, we're just going to wait, what are some 3 questions we can ask or 3 statements we can use for that objection? Shoot for number 1.
What makes you say that?
What makes you say that, right? Great. Very generic response to just about every objection gets them to start talking. Robin, number 2.
I understand you want to wait, but what's important to you about waiting?
There you go. Unearth the reason for waiting. What's the 3rd one? What do you
How
hope?
long are you willing to wait?
What do you hope changes?
Mm-hmm.
If we can uncover what they hope changes and we understand their main motivation for selling or buying in the first place, can we play a little balancing act? I'm hoping that Jesus Christ comes down and puts in my front yard a giant sign and all these things, great, beautiful things, right? But I want to sell my house to be close to family back east and my mom's not doing good. Okay, I can pull on the emotions a lot harder. Oh, we're hoping that the market comes up 5% because we want to make an extra $20,000 in the sale of our house. Okay, so are you telling me that $20,000 is more important to you than your kids' extra time with their grandparents? Or you having a few extra months with your parents? God, you pull that card out, somebody's going to feel like an asshole. They're like, whoa, you're right. $20,000 is not worth the extra time. Because on top of that, what do people have to pay every month?
Mortgage.
Mortgage, utilities, expenses. But people forget that. Clients forget that. They're like, I'm going to sell my house. We're just in 6 months. Okay, what's your payment? $2,000 a month? Okay, what are you hoping? Well, I need to make another $20,000. Okay, so you're telling me if I were to get you $20,000 more, 6 months from now, you'd sell your house. And in the meantime, you would pay an additional $12,000 towards your mortgage, plus the utilities and the insurance, and have potential, damage and repairs needed on the house. So it's worth 6 months to you to potentially make another $5,000 or $6,000. Am I reducing it to the ridiculous at this point? Am I peeling off that huge $20,000 earmark? $20,000 down to 5. Miss Teresa.
The other thing you're doing is you're letting them know what the market is now. You don't have a crystal ball. 6 months from now, their price may not be as high as it is now for listing. You might not have buyers on every corner waiting. So that's another big issue that can help.
Well, what's already happening right now? What's already happening right now?
Interest rate just went up 0.25%.
Went up 10%.
Oh, 10%. Ooh.
A quarter point is 10% of the interest
Oh,
rate.
okay. Quarter point. Okay.
Think about that. Well, if you talk in terms of it went up a quarter point, okay, 0.25%. Okay. 0.25 of 2.5% is the rate went up 10%. So even if the market goes up 10%, buyers are still in the same volume, right? Now they're 20% away from their goal. But when the rates go up, price is going to go down because you no longer satiate demand. You no longer have this feeding frenzy of cheap money. And that's the term we use a lot, cheap money. Does it make sense to pay high price on a house if your interest rates are also stupid high? Do you think we'd have the 19% yield if we still had the 3.5%, 4% interest rates? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. So educate them to make the best informed decisions they can. And the only way we can educate them is to understand what their motivations are, what information they already know, and how we can fill in the gaps between what they want and where they're going. And remember, it's not always the money. Don't chase the money. The money is the rationalization for the online thing, but it's not always the main motivator. My personal story. Do you guys remember why I bought the house, where I bought my house? It's in the neighborhood that my son's mom lives in. It's in the neighborhood that my sister lives in. We're buying a house for my mom to live there. So I didn't care what I paid. It was all about proximity to me. It was all about the lifestyle I was going to live. It was going to be what could be for my family. My son can walk to his mom's house. My nephew can walk to his mom's house and back to mine. They can walk across the wash, use the pool. It was a lifestyle. I paid probably 20 grand more than my house is worth, to be honest, because I bought it right when COVID happened. I didn't care. I got the exact house I wanted in the exact area I wanted. Money's not always the motivator. It becomes the smokescreen in the absence of good questions. If we don't ask the questions to uncover the root motivations, then how can we ever give good information? So I challenge you this weekend, guys, if you don't understand good questions, look at the conversations you're having. If they feel short, shift your dialogue. Ask open-ended questions. Don't be afraid to use the line, tell me more. That's interesting. Explain a little bit. Tell Jason to get me a Bang energy drink from the gas station and bring it. Fruit punch one. I don't think it hurt me. But other than that, guys, it's a beautiful Friday morning. If you have questions, we'll be on our questions and answers here in about 10 minutes. Links at 1KWSA. Stop that page. No yawning. It's 8:35 in the morning. Stop it. All right, guys, this weekend, do something great with yourselves. I know that greatness becomes what we make of it. And I love the fact that Diego and Jacob are just hanging out. I don't know if Diego realizes that he's at the wrong office to meet me at 9 o'clock. But he's gonna find out real soon.
The broker has a meeting too, 1 to 4.
Yeah, you got the broker contract class today. And then what else is on the agenda? I'm also going to be, I got too many things open on my computer. So broker class and then the questions and answers. And then the future here coming up,